Welcome back, episode 4, and now there are 4. The Viejo Young Professionals podcast, the power of networking. My name is Daniel Katzman, financial services professional. This is Ian White, Edward Jones, Bryn Parmenter Insurance, Moose with Paradise Photography. Today we're going to be discussing, some networking. Right now we're going to cut into up-and-coming events within the chamber. Ian, what are we looking like? What type of events we got?
All right, a little slow for the holidays, but we do have a ribbon cutting for Alec, Engage Personal Training. He's just started his personal training business, and that's going to be on December 4th.
Yeah, that one's going to be really exciting. He's a really good guy, and it's kind of it's not a young professionals thing because his whole business is more focused on elderly taking care of their bodies, and his whole deal is there's not going to be the bodybuilder in the gym there embarrassing you.
Yeah, the tagline is, you don't want to be embarrassed by the young kids pushing weights, come to my gym and I'll help you out.
Exactly. So be on the lookout for that. And then as far as city events, we got Santa's Workshop December 13th, Coloring for Adults December 14th, Jane Austen Holiday Ball December 15th, Books and Barks December 16th. The list goes on and on. Just go ahead and check out MV Life. That's the app for the city of Mission Viejo. It's got everything on there. Keep up to date. Make sure you're out there networking during the holiday season because you're right, it is kind of slow. And we were talking about it before the cameras got rolling, but like doing these cold calls and talking to people with the holiday season, what type of feedback are you guys getting on the cold calls? And are you being able to book those appointments? Are people looking to...
I think it depends on the type of business you're in.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, for photography and these type of jobs, yes, we are getting more. People want holiday pictures, holiday cards, stuff like that. So, definitely a busy time of the year for us.
Yeah. Just swamped. Do you even have any availability left?
Barely, due to cancellations, because people are always changing plans. So you do get some cancellation. We do try to fit everybody in and make sure that we take care of everybody. So
nice, good.
I think my case is more just working on established customers I'm already working with and kind of ironing those things out. And even those cases, it's kind of time constraints come into play, and so it's just kind of making sure you're still on their radar and seeing if it's going to be things are going to close this year or if it's going to be pushed out into the January. But keeping in constant contact and leading along the way so things don't go completely dark throughout the holidays.
I feel that. Ian, what about you? What are you feeling with finance and people's planning?
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly referral based nowadays. So for me, both with current clients and referrals, the holidays, it's hit and miss. Sometimes they want to enjoy the family time. Others, it's the only time they have to actually get work done. So I've got lots of things going on with clients who finally have time to work. And also the referrals, they're finally ready to talk because they've got time off.
Yeah, their kids are out of school. They got a little second. They can step outside and take a phone call. It's kind of, that's how I feel too. It's a little bit of a mixed bag. It's I don't know, I'm doing more cold calls of just totally cold and seeing hey, you got any time to step out, intro call type thing like that, and as well as that doing the same thing as Bryn, doing the calls to the good clients and just kind of sticking on the radar and just checking in. Happy Thanksgiving, how you guys doing? I think that's kind of got to be the move, being my second season, holiday season. I'm learning, so.
Yeah, touching base with the good, not just prospects, but your good clients, so it's good because it seems holidays are a good time to talk to people, but also some things go by the wayside. You see sometimes cards are getting compromised from all the holiday spending, so you're having to update some stuff like that. So it tends to be a little bit more service work rather than sales, but I mean, the service work keeps the book of business rolling for years to come, so that's...
Yeah, it opens it up to the referrals later, right?
Good service work is sales.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad always says he's just an overpaid customer service rep. So.
Good customer service will do it.
That's kind of the gig. But let's get into what is the importance of networking in your guys' respective careers, would you say? Moose, you want to start?
Yeah. So I actually believe networking is one of the most important things in any business. the Mission Viejo Chamber of Commerce actually.
It's obviously the most critical networking tool we all use.
It was for me, especially when it came into COVID, and especially for photographers and videographers. Most of your work is through weddings, families, stuff like that. So everything got stopped, and the only people that needed work to be, online, their website, social media, was businesses. So businesses actually saved my business during COVID. So.
And you probably helped save a lot of them because they're all trying to switch on to online and make their websites look beautiful. And without good pictures, it looks like my wiki page.
Networking is huge. It definitely helped me grow more, and I think it's a vital part of business to network and let people know what you do and how you can help them. And it came, with the chamber when COVID happened. I went to an event, a ribbon cutting, and John Rodriguez actually. He was like, "Yes, we need a photographer. We need somebody that shows our events and stuff." And I started helping him out, and it definitely, brought my business closer to Mission Viejo, and helped me grow more. So.
Yeah, I remember when you got there, you had just started, I think, within the last year. And then within 1 year of being in the chamber, you were too busy to take on new clients.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It
Probably
was.
the fastest success story I've seen there.
And definitely got a lot of support from, the Mission Viejo Chamber of Commerce, from the CEO, Doug, to, all the ambassadors and everybody. Everybody was helping and recommending me to, new clients. I had a lot of them that actually, did their headshots. Everybody needed new headshots. Because during COVID, everybody was trying to update their stuff and work on, their business. So it was a great time for me.
I think you did it in a good way too. You see people, you can get out what you put in, and you put in that work and establish the connections. And so really just hit the ground running there. And so took advantage of everything it had to offer is a big thing for sure.
Yeah. And I think networking is a huge part of just any business.
I think we'd all kind of agree there. Like, it's critical roles. You can't get clients without meeting people. Unless you're part of like the biggest Irish family of all time, you're not going to be able to stick within the family to have enough clients to continue working. So it's thank goodness I do have one side of my family's Irish, but you got to get out there and network. And I think like it's what have we learned that works with networking? I think for me and for Moose, we can say that it's just jumping in with 2 feet. Like, it's not waiting till your business is up for 3 years and then getting out there and trying to network. I think it's get out there instantly. It doesn't matter if you just walked in the office yesterday, but then represent yourself well and, just get in front of people. Whatever you're doing, you're representing yourself most importantly, and that's you're you're part of a community, you know what I mean? Like, Mission Viejo is my community, and I try to do a lot inside of it inside the Mission Viejo Activities Committee and then the Chamber as well. So it's, I don't know, like, what else would you say that you've learned that works for you guys inside networking?
I think being efficient with your time for certain cases, like with your business, like say Moose, anyone can use photographer. So meeting every single person is fantastic. In my case, there's certain people that are better. A lot of financial people, service professionals, other businesses that are working with other businesses where, say, a home inspector, I don't do much on the personal lines of insurance, so that one isn't going to be as good. So spending a bunch of my time with a meeting and getting to know home inspectors, getting to know them is great, but trying to establish a business relationship isn't going to be as effective if I am rather working with a CPA, someone's work that's specialized in working with businesses, that's in there all the time, who's going to know what I do a bit more, but also the referral sources. There's crossovers. He's working with businesses, so that's someone. You hear power partners so much when in networking, when
we call them COIs.
Yeah, putting in the work with the specific areas is important. Getting to know everyone is, but dedicating your time to who's going to give you the most return on that investment of your time.
Is that why you always are whining and dining me and Ian? Huh?
Yeah, of course.
Wait, he wines and dines you?
I guess he likes me more. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I know Ian and Bryn more through another networking group. And I actually started with that networking
You guys are
group.
cheating on the chamber?
Yeah,
Holy
that was
smokes.
actually before
Yeah,
I joined
originator.
the chamber, and I mean that's the beauty of networking is you're gonna run into people more and more, and you end up and we ended up all being in the chamber now.
Well, thanks for looping them in. I really appreciate it.
Hey, they did good work.
Yeah. What about you? What's like something that you've learned that's really worked in networking?
Yeah, well, I mean, like what you said about starting early. The group that we were in together was a private group, so only one financial advisor, one photographer in the whole group, and getting to know a lot of people there who were also in the chamber made it so that when I came to the chamber, I had 3 people stand up and say, "Hey, I know he looks young, but he's been out over a decade, and I really like him. He does good work."
Yeah.
And so it's an immediate in. And from there, the most important thing for me in terms of networking is the one-on-one meetings
Yeah.
and providing advice. The people you never want to see again are the people who set up a one-on-one, and then they're like, "Hey, what kind of product do you want to buy from me?" Yep. It's like, that doesn't put a good taste in my mouth. But when I meet with someone one-on-one, I give advice, educate them on things that I think they might be going through right now. So if it's a business owner, we'll talk about business retirement planning, but nowhere in that conversation is me trying to insert myself.
Yeah.
It's what questions do you have about what you might be going through.
Yeah.
And ironically, that's what gets you the most business. Because when people realize you're willing to give advice without pressure, they pressure themselves.
Yeah, they're like, I got to get this done. Right. Like that teaching role.
I think I'm more inclined to refer someone that doesn't try to hard sell me right away, because I think of maybe an older client I have that just wants this one specific thing.
Yeah.
I don't want someone coming in trying to upsell them on everything they don't need when they came for one specific thing. So if someone's already trying to hard sell me right away, they'll probably be doing that as well. So I'm a little like, I don't know about referring as much. So I think.
Yeah, I got a client once, 80-year-old guy. He calls me and says, "Hey, what are your CD rates?" I say, "Hold on, let me pull it up. Here's what they are." He's like, he takes a beat. He's like, "Thank you. I called my bank, the bank that I use, and asked." And the guy said, "Oh, well, we got to sit down and I got to understand your financial situation." He's like, "I just want a CD. That's all I want."
Yeah, you're not getting anything else from
it turns out after the CD, he actually did want some financial planning, but just give people what they want and what they need.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the full suite of services that you provide.
Yeah.
Because I've done that with you. I'm like, hey, just all she wants is this, and that's it. And then they appreciate me too. Where they're like, thank you for sending someone that's not just trying to sell me everything under the sun, because you have that ability to sell just about anything.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. And then you hear the mentor where it's like, don't give a quote, don't you dare, like sit down. You have to hear. We're not allowed to clap apparently on the podcast. I'm still learning things. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, Jamie. My bad. Yeah, so it's like you got to sit down. You got to get everything. You got to. What's their budget? Blah 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 blah. What's their discretionary? It's like sometimes you just literally just give them exactly what they want, and they're gonna. It's that course of action happens so much faster.
Yep.
And I think the one-on-ones and sitting down, I think that teacher role is really important, and then just jumping in with 2 feet, whatever you're going to do, whatever type of networking, and then I think being consistent inside of that as well is another very important thing, because if you're just jumping around to 200 different networking groups and they only get to see you once every 6 months, it's going to be really hard to form those relationships.
Yeah.
Or if you had great success and then you stop showing up completely, there's always going to be someone that's coming in that's going to be working it just like you. So maybe you're not going as much, but still saying, hey, I'm still here. A lot of the whole networking is people are so inclined to work with you because, hey, you're going to see me every week. It's a little bit of that face-to-face and that accountability. If that loses, that's like, well, I have someone else coming in here working it. So you do see a bit of that as well.
Yeah. Do you feel that, Ian? Like it's like people
when
really
I joined
respect that?
when I joined the chamber, there were several financial advisors, but none of them were going consistently.
Yeah.
And so I knew right away. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be the guy. And it was me and Sheldon right around the same time.
Yeah.
And we were the guys because nobody else showed up consistently.
Yeah.
Unlike some professions where I might be willing to buy something right away, I need to know a financial advisor for a year. before I even consider doing anything with them.
Bare minimum.
So
Yeah, that's what Alan's told me straight up right away. The new chamber president, he said, like, 12 to 18 months, Danny. Just be patient. It's going to happen. And then exactly on that 12th month, it was like referrals just started flowing in. And it's like, oh, ultimately, I needed to do the networking just for myself. You know what I mean? Like, you're learning how to represent yourself. You're dressing in the suit. You're walking around. You go to the donut shop with your grandma after church, and people are like, oh, hey, Dan, how are you? You know, that type of stuff. That's part of the networking for me, being a part of the community. But it was right. It's the 12 to 18 month turnaround time, and the fact that I was consistent. And it's like, we do still have Ian and Sheldon, but it's like, oh wait, there's this other kid. You know what I mean? So and I work for
you did a really good job at getting in and fitting in well with the current group.
Yeah, well, I was born and raised in the area, so I kind of know the lingo. But it's that kind of leads us into our next topic of like, did you guys have any mentors or anything? For me, it was, we already spoke about him, Johnny Rodriguez. Shout out the man. If you guys need a mortgage, check out iFinance. He's a beast. He's absolutely the best. He took me right under his wing. He was my ambassador, and he was like, we had a meeting after Daybreakers. Him and Doug called me like instantaneously after I signed up, and so got that meeting. He got my badge ordered, all that stuff, and just was like, would you be interested in being an ambassador? I was like, I don't know. Let me check with my company. Let's see. And I said yes to everything. And I think you do have to be efficient with your time. But if you don't know what your time's worth, just jump in, and then, then you do learn what your time's worth, and you're able to say no. So it's for you guys. Did you guys have any mentors outside of Johnny Rodriguez? Because he probably helped everybody here.
Mine was more, Jane, my mom, in the business, in networking, got to see and learn from her as well. But I think there was a bit of that, like, all right, set things up on your own and then kind of learn, because everyone's going to make mistakes early on, and there's a lot more leeway, or people are understanding more networking. Better to make that mistake. They'll educate you and give you some tips, like, hey, just to let you know, this may not be the best way to do it. Better learn there than do that with a client or something like that.
I guess, but then they all turn into clients anyways. Apparently, it's terrible. I've done some horrible speeches at this Daybreakers thing. Oh my God, up there.
We all have.
Oh, it's so bad.
That's a part of it. It's, taking your losses and making them into wins. When I got into the chamber, I had no idea, about my speeches. I didn't know what I was doing. I was nervous in front of a crowd. And I had a lot of mentors.
Now we have 98 viewers. We're big time podcasters, pretty much famous.
Dave Benson gave me a lot of great pointers when I got there. He would even tell me like how to put your badge, so when you're shaking, somebody's hand, they can see your name. All these little things helped. I would say take advice from everybody you can to grow more. I actually have one of my mentors here today behind the camera, Steve from Soaring High Studios.
His name was Jamie. It's an evergreen joke. You gotta keep rolling with it.
He's one of the people that always pushed me to never quit. Because I had many times where I was like super close to be like, I'm done. I can't take this anymore. And you need these people that will help you stay focused on the goal, stay focused on, how to do it, and help you grow.
Yeah, 100%. David Benson helped me too. He pulled me aside, and we sat down for coffee like one of the first weeks I was at the chamber. And he's like, obviously trying to recruit a little bit too. And then, but on the outside, just like, these are some things with networking, told me about the badge on the right. Like, he was really awesome. That's what I love about the chamber, is like, you go there and it's like, you go to a Daybreakers, and it's just like a big hug. Like, it's instantly, everybody's like, oh, what do you do? How do I help? Like, you got to meet this person, and it's like, that's why I really appreciate this chamber, and that's why, I have no problem doing as much as I do, kind of, too. What about you guys? I want to hear, like, who were your mentors inside of the chamber? Or maybe even outside?
There was one guy who kept our entire other networking group alive. He was the glue, he was the building material, everything. Mark Martinez.
Mark Martinez.
Yeah, a mortgage professional. I was 22 when I got into the group, and he was kind of like a father figure. We built a friendship. My wife and I went out with him and his wife all the time.
Oh, nice.
and he taught me how to network. I heard from another Edward Jones advisor, hey, join a group immediately, and so I did.
Yeah.
But that's all I knew.
Yeah.
And he taught me everything else. And I think one of the most important things he did was the next time the board was doing elections, he said, oh, Ian's going to be the secretary. And then I just got a call saying that I'm going to be the secretary.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, from then on, I realized that part of building a reputation is being involved. And that, I mean, I've been on the board of every networking group I've been at every single year since then.
That's awesome.
And it's been very helpful.
That's really rad. How many groups are you a part of?
Just two.
Just two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You generally want one exclusive group where you're the only person that does what you do, and then a bigger group that accepts everyone like the chamber.
I really like that idea.
That's exactly what I do, and it's been great.
And you guys are using the BNI as the other one?
Yes, I've transferred with BNI from.
We're gonna have to beep that. We don't want to shout.
Yeah,
them
no. I use
Generic
OC Pros.
OC Pros.
Yeah, it broke off from Latip a long time ago.
That's High Ground, or not? It's Cantina Green.
Yeah, Green Chili Cantina.
Yeah, that's where you guys. That's a good. There are a lot of people from the chamber in that one too, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it's huge, you know. It's
all the groups you want to be at, they meet weekly.
We got to find out where these mortgage guys are learning to network. I swear, holy smokes, who's teaching these
There
guys?
is networking groups everywhere, and a big part of what helped my business is to focus on your area. I was going out to Huntington Beach and all these different areas, and then when I focused on Mission Viejo, it just got way much easier, and
When you can roll out of bed to a networking event, it's far superior.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, if you got to join a group in your city. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not,
makes it easier.
If you have to drive 20 miles to get to your networking event, you're not going. You know what I mean? Like, if you have any reservation in your mind, you're a little nervous, your suit's not perfectly ironed, whatever it is, you're not going to go.
Yeah.
You know
Or
what I
like
mean?
the hybrid of some of those have it, where it's like you're still meeting in person at least once a month with everyone, so you're still seeing everyone, but then you're online, so it's not like you're getting up an extra hour and a half every single week early for that.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to be like, oh, well, we're also going to do a lunch this week. Like, oh, I'm happy to go to that lunch because I just had to hop online rather than go drive 30 minutes to there and then 30 minutes back.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we can do it this way too. So.
And I think that's what like the power of technology has really been, like being able to Zoom and send e-sign, docu-signs, and all that stuff. It's like, it's invincible. Like 2 years before I joined the industry, you were driving to your clients to get them to sign stuff.
And now my Mission Viejo clients want to meet on Zoom.
Yeah, literally my neighbor wants to go on Zoom. It's insane. Like, some people want to meet in person, like especially like the first couple times you meet, the handshake's important, all that stuff, but then from now on out, email me, text me, call me. I don't want to, we're not doing this. I got family, I got kids, holiday, blah, 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 any excuse possible. Yeah. So it's like, the importance of having one inside of your city and being close to it, or it's just 15 minutes away from every single networking event. It's elite. That's why I love Mission Viejo as well so much, is because the city throws on so many events all the time. You know what I mean? You have an event. Like in the beginning, we were 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, and I was like, I'm going to just shut up and put it on, tell them to go to the app, because it's elite. You know what I mean? You have endless things, and you don't have to go far, and there's no reservation anymore. You're a part of the community, you know?
And a good thing with those local networking groups, you're building your relationships and who you can refer out locally too. Because I've always found that's a big thing. I've gotten clients just because like, oh, well, we wanted someone nearby. Yeah. So referring someone else nearby makes it even better. You got to be that source of like helping them out, but also it's not like, well, I have somebody, but they're far away. You're never going to meet them. Just trust me.
They go to another school. I promise.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I promise they're real. Yeah, it's that's huge. Well, we are coming down to the end of the year. This is the November podcast. Next one we'll have December. That'll be our year end, our fifth and final podcast of the year for 2023. What do you think as far as like, we do all this networking, we start to gain clients. What does like the goal setting look like for you guys coming in like the end of the year? And what do you think like the importance of setting those goals is?
For me, the goal is about my time. Right, how much time am I going to commit per week? What events am I going to go to? Yeah. At first, it was just I got to go to the morning networking meetings, and then eventually I'm on the board. There's lots of events in the evenings, The ribbon cuttings, I need to go to all those too. And then it's planning events. How much time am I going to spend planning these things for the chamber? That's where my goals are, because you can't, when you make a goal that's not associated with something you have control over, like I want to bring in this many clients, then you go crazy because you can't control that. But what I do is, if I'm putting in all of the effort, if I'm there every week, if I'm meeting with every single guest that comes in, then I can track the results. And so in my business plan, I have an Excel sheet, many sheets, and every single year it's who are the clients that I got, where did I get them from, every single year. And so I know that from networking, I get about 1/3 of my business. And unlike some industries, I keep my clients. And so, I don't even consider myself paying for networking anymore. It's all paid for. I've got all these clients. And now they're referring people.
Yeah.
And so I track that, but my goals are associated with the time that I put in.
Yeah. And that's kind of a very high level way of looking at goals right there, is what you just said. Because there is, right, you have to, I think there's something important of setting the, hey Leia, how are you? It's our dog in the back. But I think there is an importance to setting like the crazy part. Like you have to have the something that drives the crazy. Does that make sense? But you have to know how you're going to get there. Like you have to have like, I want the house on the hill. But this is how I'm going to get to the house of the hill. I'm going to have the 2 appointments a day or whatever. I'm going to meet with this many people. I'm going to make sure, like, you know what I mean, how you just kind of broke that down. But I think, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you think there's any kind of importance of putting that crazy in front of you?
Well, I think the calls, like I'm going to make this many calls a day. That's something you can control. If you say, I want 2 appointments today, then you're just going to keep calling until you get them.
Yeah.
But there's still a chance you make 200 calls and you don't get any.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about the thing I can control, and then it's a feeling. So like, oh, I got 6 clients this year from networking. Does that feel like enough or not? And that's going to help me decide whether I continue, whether I re-up.
We talked about it before the pod started, though. Like we know some advisors that get to the 700 client marker or whatever, and they can't stop.
Right.
Right. So it's how do you control those feelings?
So I do have a separate goal.
You run marathons. Never mind. I know exactly how you control your feelings. You run it out like
discipline.
Crazy man. He's up
work
there.
out.
What's that big bear one you do? That's nuts.
Oh yeah, that was fun. You just start at the top of the mountain and you run down.
Yeah, just 26.2
Easy.
miles. Yeah, that's all.
Easy.
The kid's nuts. Okay, I just want to let you know.
But no, you have your goal of how many clients I can manage, right? I figured out how much time I spend with each client throughout the year.
Yeah.
Multiply that by how much time I actually want to work, and I figure I can work with 300 clients, and I'm halfway there. So until then, I'm just going to be taking on new clients. When I get close, then I'll start thinking of who are clients that maybe we both thought we would be a good fit, and now maybe it's not, and how do I transition those people to someone who'd be a better fit?
I like how you just naturally transitioned right over to me. I'll take your book. Don't worry about it. I'll let you retire nice and young. It's okay.
Just come over to Edward Jones and I'll shoot you.
Well, you come on over to me. I don't know. We'll talk about it later. But what about for you guys? Like, it's what do you like?
I like right now. I'm more focused. Goals. I have my whole year, goals for the year, and this is kind of where I'm starting to sit down, analyze, and also focus on organization for the next year.
Yeah.
I kind of focus on the things I can control. I can't control where my clients are spending their time, and if I can't, they're on vacation, and things just aren't as efficient. The carriers I'm working with, there's people on vacation, so the normal running of the business isn't the same for the sales side, but it's a great time to focus on year-end goals. So like, all right, I wanted to shoot for this sales quota for this full year. Did I get there? If not, what months did I do well on? What was I doing those months compared to what I wasn't doing? And then also starting on things like tax planning and things like that for the next year, where it's like, all right, I know I have a bit extra time where I normally wouldn't because people are away. So where can I put that to be most efficient?
Yeah. I think that's the same. Like using December, I'm gonna take some time to read some books, make sure, see where I what months went well, what months didn't. How like I hit my year-end number, right? So it's like what led to that success, what didn't, and then it's I think the importance of setting year-end or next year's goals in December is far more important than just like going Happy New Year, I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? Like
that's your business planning month.
Yeah, you have to, and if you don't do it in December, you're gonna be caught flat-footed in January and just absolutely run over like a train. So it's like I'm not gonna let 2024 go that way. There's
like,
no way.
What brought you to the dance is like that expression. So like, what got you here? What were you doing? And then
I just showed up. I don't know.
Hey, sometimes that's what it is. It's showing up consistently and like with the networking. Oh man, it's been 4 months, but
So bottom line,
you're working on bigger deal sizes, 6 months, 12 months, but then it eventually is that consistency part.
even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right? I think
There's
that's
always-
beautifully said. I think you're right.
There's always, it's like a graphic that I always think of. It's like there's like two guys that are mining, and one guy, he stops right before he gets to like everything he is, and there's one guy that just took that last step. They got all hard work he's done. He gave up right before the reward because he was discouraged.
Yeah. How we talked about how it's like dumb people succeed because they just don't know when to give up. I
Yeah,
think we talked
sometimes
about
it
that
is,
before.
yeah.
It is.
I
is
love
that
it. You know what I
way.
mean? Like even a moron can succeed. God bless the United States. Come on. Like,
Or it's like sometimes you overthink your way out of something. Like, oh man, I can't do that. But like the less you know, you don't, and you're like, well, I'm just gonna do it, and then it works out.
yeah, because you can't overthink. You know what I mean? It's just I think that's kind of what we started off the podcast with. It's just like go out there and network. You know what I mean? Jump in with 2 feet. Don't overthink it. Just get involved. Represent yourself well, and you know. I think something I want to give you kudos on that I forgot to do was your 30-second commercials is something that you really do well in. It's like you just give an educated thing. You take a very teacher stance to it. It's you knock that out of the park.
Yeah, now I just wish I wrote them all down so I could go back 3 years and repeat.
Oh
But
yeah.
I make
Rinse
them up
and
new every
repeat.
time.
I'd call you out. I'd be like, that's a repeat.
Yeah.
That's episode 3. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
What about you, Moose? I know with goals, with you being a busier time of the year for your business.
So this was a big year.
yeah, you're
for-
just getting run over right now already.
This year was a huge year for Paradise Photography OC. We won our 2nd year in a row for Best Photographer in Trevico Canyon.
Congrats.
We had one of our pictures posted in Times Square.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we hit a lot of big goals this year. So next year it's about doing more and bigger things. And
We'll only be hugely disappointed if you don't. Like,
you and me both. I mean, I don't stop, and that's the big part of it. Is just you don't stop. A lot of the time we look at the big picture and we, like you said, we get fearful and I don't know if I can do this. But a big part of it and what helped me grow is to just look at your next step and keep moving forward. Look at your next step and keep moving forward. So don't stop working. Don't stop. That's what's gonna make you different than all the other people in your field. Is how much harder you work and how much love and care that you put into your work. Your craftsmanship. The way that you do things, the way that you network. I'm constantly trying to better, if it's on my networking or on my shooting or, timing. You hit it on the spot. Timing is everything. So you do have to be constantly working on all those things. Your schedule and to balance things in life, especially with the holidays and work and family and everything. You always want to balance things where, you're hitting your goals in the end.
I think where you said it though, sometimes when something's so big, taking that just one step at a time rather than look at the whole thing is such a good way to do it. I think that's a lot with like the marathons.
Yeah.
Rather than looking at 26.2, break down to 13.1, and
Right.
then you just make
Well,
it
I'm just worried
incremental
about
pieces.
the mile. I want like a 9-minute mile. Am I getting that this mile? Am I going to get that next mile? And then all of a sudden you're like 15 miles in. And you're like, oh shoot!
I'm dizzy, but I can't. I'm island. I'm doing good.
Right? And so you need those 100 clients throughout 12 months, but then it's like, all right, break that down into how many do I need a month? Well, how many meetings do I need to get one client? And then break it down. Like, all right, if I just do 2 one-to-ones a week, I'll get 100 clients through figuring like over time.
I think the hardest part though for people first starting is like I don't have the data to figure that out.
True. That's the jump.
So then
in 2
just
feet.
throw things on the wall.
Yeah.
Just see what sticks. You know
And
what I mean?
as
Yeah,
you
do
do
your
it more, you
research.
become more efficient. You learn what works, what doesn't work, and that's just
Yeah. Find those mentors. Right. See whose wing you can get under.
And a big pitfall is stopping. Moose, he said, don't stop. People know that it's hard to start a career. And so when it's hard, they're pretty good at keeping the momentum.
Yeah.
Where they fall off is you have a really good month. You get a really big client or a lot of clients, and you're like, oh, I can take it easy.
Yeah, you let your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you lose your momentum, and your next month or two is terrible, and then you get into that downward spiral again. Mm-hmm. When things are great, you have to keep pushing, and the way that I do that is I pretend that there's a reset every month. Mm-hmm. So like, okay, that was good this month, but next month is blank. And and I'll pretend that I only met 100% of my goal, even if it was like 400%. So now I got to start over and keep doing the work.
Gotta find that nut.
Because I fell into that hole a lot when I was newer.
Yeah. I'm not gonna fall into it again. I've done it too many times already in my 14th months or whatever. So it's like there's just no absolute way. Because right now it is coming in that holiday season. People aren't really trying to meet. Some people are trying to meet. We don't know what's gonna fall. All I'm trying to do is shove stuff in my hopper. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, my problem has never been a too full hopper. You know what I mean? My hopper hasn't failed to flush. You know what I mean? I can flush that hopper. But keeping that hopper full all the time, that's where it's like my challenge has been. So it's like, I'm just throwing things in there. You know what I mean? Just seeing everything that's like every day I'm just shoveling, and it doesn't matter, right? You got to reset it that month. I did hit my year end, but it doesn't matter because 2024 is coming.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I have to there's a whole nother year we got to deal with. So it's like, let's make sure that hopper's full. And I think, Moose, you're saying some advice. Do you guys have any other pieces of advice for people coming into the career? I just read this crazy thing on this piece of paper from one of our producers saying it takes an average of 3 to 6 months for a man to find, or a person to find land their first job after graduation. Mm-hmm. That's malarkey to me, because my dad always said, graduate with a career, not a piece of paper. So it's like I wasn't going to leave school without a career first, you know? And so...
Well, your dad was probably also able to work his way through college, where now it'd take 30 years to do that.
Yeah. It was, but it's also a matter of like, he left school without graduating to start where he started, and now he owns that company, right? So it's like he had, like, it's don't graduate with a piece of paper for any, like, just to be like, oh, I did it.
I think for that, though, for like that 3 to 6 months, I think the hardest part there would be not comparing yourself to someone that did get a job right away.
Oh, of course.
Be in different industries. Some places it's easier. Some places are more impacted. And so, like, I know it can be so frustrating sometimes. Like, man, I did all this work or graduated, and I've been looking for a job for 6 months.
And that will drive you nuts. Don't do that. Don't ever compare yourself to others. But also, if you haven't graduated yet, start looking yesterday for a job. Send out 100 resumes a day. That's what I had to do, right? I was sending out to every financial institution in America. North Dakota, South Dakota, Rhode Island. I didn't care where it was. I was going to go. I took interviews all over the place. And then ultimately, when that right career path did come, I was so much better versed in the career overall and what it looked like and what the possible prospecting and pay and all that stuff looked like, because I had all that. Like, I'd send out 100 resumes a day. I was sending out 5 a day and saying, Dad, it's not working. But then he's like, are you sending out 100 a day? And finally I was like, no, I'm not. It's like, just do it.
Yeah.
After the first week, I sent out 500. I had a bunch of people. It was insane.
I think people misunderstand the phrase "don't settle," because I agree with that, but it doesn't mean don't take the job at Subway. It means take the job at Subway, and when you get home, that's when your real job starts, which is to find your career. You need to get paid. When 100%. I was in college, I worked on campus a lot, but I had to switch in my senior year. I was like, I need to find a job that I can keep as a non-student so that I can take the time to find a real career. And I got the job at Subway working graveyard. I was so happy. It's like, this will continue after college. I did end up getting a position with Edward Jones while I was in senior year. And so I was the happiest person alive.
That's how you're supposed to do it, kids. That's all I'm saying. Just get it sent out and start looking your first semester, sophomore year. You know what I mean?
But
start
go work at the fast food place. Because
so you don't have to settle.
You need to make money.
Yeah.
And
everyone's
find your career.
Like, these days, you know what I mean?
It's not like the Edward Jones make, oh, well, we were going to hire you, but you decided to work for a living instead of stay at home. So, no.
And I think you've talked about before, you've also did the other things, working with like nonprofits and trying to find everyone. I think a hard one is, is an entry level position, but I need 2 years of experience. So it's like early on trying to get those you may not be getting paid, but you're getting that experience that's going to get you in the door. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I had
Internships.
lots of management experience with nonprofits because I was on the boards, and so getting into Edward Jones, that's what got it for me. Is they realize, because you're proving you have dedication and commitment to something you're not getting paid for, that might be difficult, thankless, but you're doing it month after month after month.
100%.
Like, you need to be able to prove that somehow. So if you worked at McDonald's for 2 years, one way of thinking about that is, that doesn't look very good for
2
the
years
career
customer
that
service.
I want. But for the career, it's like, that kid survived 2 years at McDonald's.
and you could work
That's
full
commitment.
time
Yeah.
with everything on top, time management. There's a lot of things you wouldn't think would necessarily work. Like
Exactly.
I was in a fraternity and going through the executive board on the fraternity, being the house manager of 130 kids, managing a $100,000 budget.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that is actually experience working with
100%.
different services to make sure the house is fit up, making sure the fire extinguishers, we're not going to get code violations.
That's huge.
There's so many different things that aren't jobs that can give you the experience and things to
Absolutely.
talk about in interviews and kind of
Absolutely.
differentiate yourself from the other applicants.
Go speak with your college's career development people. Make them write you a resume. Like, they will do it. They'll be like, oh yeah, you have 5 years financial experience. And it's like, I took 4 finance classes. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's like the way they look at your situation and what you've accomplished in your time is much different than the way you look at it. And the way they can make that resume look, you're getting hired by whoever you want to get hired by, you know? So it's...
A big part of it too is just, so quick story, when I moved to San Francisco a long time ago, and I wanted to work for the Ferrari store since I got there. And every time I would finish class and going home, I would stop by there and keep checking if the job was still available or if they have a new job. And after 4 months of every day going, the guy would like, I just had somebody fired, just come in. Come in tomorrow.
You're here every day anyways. Just
so
start
a
working.
big part of it is just staying consistent, and if you want a job bad enough, you will get it. It's just, you have to keep on it every day until you get it.
Life is hard, and then you die. Just keep after it. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in your industry, like, people hate interviewing. When I had to find a new person for my office, that was the worst. I hated it. They want somebody they can hire immediately.
Yeah.
So putting yourself out there, whether it's 6 months out, a year out, 5 years out, maybe you're doing something else, but you're building those connections.
100%. And realize that you're interviewing them to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Show
Right.
absolute respect. They are sir, they are ma'am, but you are interviewing them. This is your career that you're going to take charge of. So you better want to work for them, and they better want you to work there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like, make sure that whoever's interviewing you, you can, we're not making it 5 minutes, Jamie. We're getting out of here. It's, make sure that, like, you are interviewing them. That's what I found when I was sending out those 100 resumes a day, and I was getting that sort of feedback, and I was starting to book these interviews, is the fact that I felt like, oh wait, I don't have to take this job anymore, right? I didn't feel like I had to settle to a certain extent. It was like, I could just, I'm going to say, hey, like, what does your payment plan look like? What does the retirement planning look like? What does all this stuff look like? I need to know, because I want to make sure that I'm going to die at this company.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because what you don't want is for them to get antsy when you ask those questions. Like, oh, well, we don't really talk about that.
That's a pyramid
like,
scheme.
oh,
Get
so
out of
you
there.
don't,
Get
so
out
you
of
don't know
there.
California law that says you have to give me a range.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you don't seem like a team player. It's like, oh, you seem like you want me to
Red
work
flag.
extra hours.
Yeah, you
for
seem
free.
like a fraudulent
Yeah.
employer. I'm out of here, bro. Like,
Saying no is a scary thing, but also could save you from a huge time sink of just understanding, like, yeah, it is a job offer, but it may not be the best one.
The best fit.
Yeah, be respectful. Do the yes or no, sir. Make sure you get out of there with still a job offer, but it's a matter of, like, get the next one.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there's this misconception that millennials and Gen Z don't want to work and that we're difficult, but we actually know our value now. So we're not going to be taken advantage of. We're not going to work overtime for free. We're not going to miss our lunch break, which is illegal.
I will.
Because you want us to. Like, we're going to read the benefits package and use the benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
And if you're short on that commission, come on.
my parents never used their benefits, their time off, their sick days. So now we're using them, and companies are complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lowered our pay so that you could give us benefits, which was an equal value. Now you're complaining that we're using them.
Oh yeah.
It's wild world out there, kids. You're pretty much. No, I can't swear. So you guys are gonna do good. It's gonna be great. This was the fourth episode, the November episode for 2023 of the Young Professionals, the Power of Networking. I appreciate you guys joining us. Tune in next month for our little December episode. Hopefully we have the Grinch might be back.
I think we will.
Maybe.
Who knows? Hey, you guys appreciate it.
And I just want to give a shout out to Quick Media Production and Soaring Studios for,
Yeah,
helping us out today.
Jamie.
If you can hear this, they did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's never gonna be dropped. Who knows? Thank you guys.